Good morning, everyone. I hope and pray that you are fine wherever you are. I welcome you again to this platform. Now, I want to have a very kind request to all my viewers. I request and pray that you subscribe to this platform before you watch our videos. You will all know, for those who have been watching all my videos, that we rely on facts and we discuss issues that affect our lives each and every day. Now, today I want to present a case about the United States. Now, the United States, as a fact, is an economic power and a military superpower. The United States leads other countries in economic performance and military performance. As a superpower in economics, the United States has always invested in its foreign policy. This investment has always been demonstrated by the US through funding. You understand that the United States has been in the forefront in supporting Ukraine in the ongoing war with Russia by providing financial support and military support. The United States recently pledged around 14 billion Kenya shillings to help our country send soldiers to Haiti. While all these are happening, the United States citizens back at home are completely suffering. Why am I saying that the United States citizens are suffering? I want to give a very simple comparison. The United States has been hit by, let me say, in this year, two major natural disasters. There was the case of Hurricane Ida, and there was the case of wildfires in Hawaii. These victims, according to the United States Federal Emergency Management Agency, these victims were given less than $1,000 each. Every household, less than $1,000. Now, I want to give you a simple comparison. Victims of the wildfires in Hawaii were given, every household was given $700. Victims of Hurricane Ida in Louisiana, the United States, were given $500. At the same time, the United States is funding the war in Ukraine in terms of billions. In fact, by the time I was making this video, the United States government had sent more than 130 billion US dollars to Ukraine. The same United States has pledged to give my country Kenya 14 billion Kenya shillings to fund a war in Haiti. The same government that we are talking about is giving $700 to its citizens and $500 to its citizens. What I am saying is facts, and I just want to refer you to a briefing from the White House, which was published on August 15th, 2023. It is titled Fact Sheet: Biden-Harris Administration's Response to the Maui Wildfires that was in Hawaii. Now, according to this press statement, the Biden administration is saying, and I quote, FEMA has also authorized critical needs assistance, which provides a one-time payment of $700 per household to applicants who are displaced from their homes and have critical needs. Critical needs assistance provides for life-saving and life-sustaining items such as water, food, prescriptions, personal hygiene items, and fuel for transportation. Now, the US government, the Biden administration, has given $700 for every household. in the United States, in Maui, Hawaii. Hawaii, those who are affected by wildfires. While Hawaii wildfire victims are being given $500, $700, Ukraine is being given billions to fund a war. When I also refer to an article that was published by the New York Times, this article was published on 21st September 2021, and it says it captures a statement from the President Joe Biden when he visited southeast Louisiana this week after Hurricane Ida that week on 21st. Now, this article says, and I quote, "So far," that is Biden talking, "we have provided, with the governor's help as well, $100 million in critical assistance directly to people in Louisiana by putting $500 in their bank accounts once they have contacted us." Victims of Hurricane Ida in Louisiana are offered $500. $500. Victims of wildfires in Hawaii are offered $700. That is United States citizens who are paying tax, and they require their government to help them. They are paying tax for the government to provide adequate services to help them during emergencies. The same people who are paying tax are being offered $700, $500. Then we talk about Ukrainians who are not paying tax in the United States, but they are being offered billions. We talk about Kenyans who are not paying tax in the United States. They are being given billions. I am not saying that brotherhood is bad. I am not upholding the fact that the United States should not help other countries in need. I am not upholding the fact that the United States should not assist Ukraine. And I am not upholding the fact that the United States government should not assist Kenya. What I am trying to say is that the priority in this case should be the United States citizens. The United States government should first solve its domestic issues. It must first ensure that its citizens are satisfied. They have access to healthcare, they have access to roads, they have access to houses, housing, homes, they have access to food and the rest. That is when the United States is capable of helping other countries. If it is capable of giving billions to Ukraine to fund a war, if it is capable of giving billions to Kenya to fund a war in Haiti, then the same government should be capable of providing its citizens with enough money, enough assistance to help them recover from emergencies. I believe that $500 is not a lot of money. In fact, the last time I checked in my country, the exchange rate was 154 Kenya shillings for $1. And if I calculate that, let me say, if I calculate $500 by 154, that brings me around 77,000 Kenya shillings. If this 77,000 Kenya shillings, as a village boy, it is only enough to build a mud house in the village. A mud house in the village, 77,000. How do you expect somebody living in Hawaii, somebody living in Louisiana, to use $500 to construct a house, at the same time to buy food, at the same time to access healthcare? How do you expect somebody living in Hawaii, living in Louisiana, and any other part of the United States which has been affected by natural disasters to use $700 to construct a house, access healthcare, buy food, pay fees, and the rest. How do you expect this to happen? The President of the United States, Joe Biden, and his advisors must prioritize things. I think the priority in this context is the United States citizens. The United States citizens cannot suffer at the expense of benefiting Ukrainians. The United States citizens should not suffer at the expense of their government giving money to fund a war in Haiti. The priority should be the United States citizens. The priority should be the citizens paying tax in the country. If Biden's administration should help Ukraine, if Biden's administration should help Kenya or Haiti or any other country in need, then it must first focus on its citizens. It must first focus on solving domestic issues. It must first focus on the satisfaction of its internal citizens. The citizens of the United States pay taxes. They pay taxes to ensure that the government provides adequate services, accessible service, reliable services. They need health care. They need houses. They need good roads. They need education. They need security. Their government should direct all these billions used in funding a war in Ukraine, all these billions ready to be used in funding another war in Haiti, to help the victims of wildfires in Hawaii, to help the victims of Hurricane Ida in Louisiana. Rather than sending billions to Zelensky in Ukraine, rather than sending billions to the Kenyan president, the Biden's administration should direct these billions to help domestic citizens, to help its citizens. I watched a video of the victims of wildfires in Hawaii saying that Biden should go away with his $700 because the maths is not adding up. How will you use $700 to buy a home? How will you use $700 to pay fees? How will you use $700 to access healthcare? And how will you use $700 to buy food? The United States citizens and the government of Biden has a responsibility to the United States citizens. It has a responsibility to ensure that United States citizens have access to good infrastructure, healthcare, food, houses, and the rest. Before helping Ukraine, before helping Kenya, first help your citizens. Brotherhood is good. In fact, helping others is good, according to the Christian ideologies, Christian laws. But you must first help yourself. First help yourself. Solve your issues at home. In fact, if you do that, we shall respect you. Me personally, I will respect the government of Joe Biden if the US citizens are satisfied, if they talk positively about their government. When I see the same government helping my country Kenya, I will be clapping. When I see the same government helping the victims in Ukraine, the war victims in Ukraine, I will be clapping. But if I see the same government sending billions to Ukraine, sending billions to Kenya, while its citizens are suffering, I will pity such a government. And I don't deserve to give any kind of respect to such a government. The priority, I know many will agree with you, concur with me, that the priority should be the United States citizens. Solve your issues at home first. Ensure that your citizens are satisfied. Ensure that your citizens have access to healthcare. They have access to homes, have access to food, water, and the rest. Then you can direct your philanthropic nature to other countries. After the victims of wildfires in Hawaii have been adequately compensated. After the victims of Hurricane Ida in southeast Louisiana have been adequately compensated, then the United States is free to give billions to Ukraine. The United States government is free to give billions to Kenya and any other country in need. These billions, I believe, should be directed to the victims of wildfires in Hawaii and the victims of Hurricane Ida in Louisiana. If that is done, then the United States shall have solved its issues at home. Giving $700 to United States citizens who are paying tax, and at the same time giving billions to Ukraine who are not paying tax in the United States, is not practical and it is not fair. I believe Biden's administration should take my advice. Solve your issues at home. Adequately compensate the victims in the United States, victims of natural disasters in the United States. Then after doing that, go to Ukraine, come to Kenya and any other country in any part of the world that needs help, and then pour billions there and millions there. But first, solve your issues at home. Ensure that your citizens are adequately serviced, adequately satisfied, have access to healthcare, have access to water, have access to education and the rest. After doing that, then go to other countries, provide financial assistance to other countries. But giving Ukraine billions, over 100 billion, and giving Kenya billions at the tune of 14 billion Kenya shillings, while the victims of wildfires in Hawaii are suffering, while the victims of Hurricane Ida are still suffering, that is unfair. And in my view, that is a government that is based on misplaced priorities.